Again, another great trading week this week with the members from the daily market breakdown videos. Let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. All right, starting things off the forecast with the DXY, the dollar index. The past week, the banks got rid of 563 longs, and they also got rid of 10,126 short contracts. Going to do a top-down approach here on the weekly chart. We reacted off of weekly demand. Very, very bullish move on the weekly chart with tons of profit margin up to about 110. I've been talking about how the last couple forecasts, there's really no quality supply zones here that, in my opinion, could result in a push down like that. That's just my opinion. So I do think if we do continue to see, 4-hour trends, daily trends to the upside, I do actually think we could see the DXY pull up to this supply in the weekly chart at 110. So we're going to take a look at the lower time frame charts and see what's going on. So if you look at a daily chart, I've been talking about this as well. Yes, the momentum is certainly up. The problem with this momentum on the daily chart, though, is that what I like to see, I like to compare the difference between momentum and a trend. In my opinion, this is momentum. It's not really a great looking trend. What I'm personally looking for is more of a deeper pullback, something like that where it's a good looking trend like that, healthy looking trend, where this to me is looking overextended. Now that doesn't mean that we just need to short or that we shouldn't be buying. I'm just trying to tell you guys and make the point that we could see a deeper pullback to get that more better looking uptrend. I just want to say that that is definitely a possibility. Now if we go to the 4-hour chart, we actually lost momentum. If you look here, we actually had a trend line like this, and we actually broke below the trend line. Now I was pointing out to the members in the Discord group that I thought if we pull back to this demand, I thought that it would actually fail and break down to the lower demand at 104.21. I actually ended up being incorrect on this one, and we actually had just a fantastic picture perfect reaction off of this demand on the 4-hour chart at 104.80. So with that being said, we created a new trend line. We connected it here from the original point down below. And now we have, again, a healthy looking and clean looking 4-hour uptrend. So as long as we have this 4-hour uptrend on the DXY, I think day trading longs on any DX dollar pairs, I think is fine. So it's really longs all the way, especially on day trading timeframes on the US dollar. On to the forecast for the Euro-US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 4,952 longs, and they also added 6,147 shorts. Going to do a quick top-down approach here. Weekly chart first. We are into weekly demand. It's very, very tested, so I actually am kind of expecting this to break. Obviously, it is just the opposite of the DXY. So the bigger move I see is really potentially down all the way to weekly demand at 0.997. I know that's a huge move. Maybe we won't get all the way down there, but I definitely think we could break below here, at least until I'm proven otherwise. Because if you look on a daily chart here, again, the momentum is so powerful right now. Yes, we are coming into some sort of daily demand back here, but if you look, it's been really used up. We pushed into it. Not only did we push into it multiple times, but look how deep we tested it as well. So that's just, in my opinion, a sign, an indication that, yeah, there is demand here. We could see maybe like a positive week in the euro and then ultimately a move down. So we're just definitely going to have to monitor this situation here on the euro. And just because the weekly demand was in control doesn't mean we are scared of taking trades. I actually pointed out this beautiful 1-hour supply level trade right here at 1.07 to the Diamond members in the daily market breakdown video. Now, if you guys want access to these videos on a daily basis throughout the week to get my forecast and analysis throughout the week, check it out. Links in the description down below to the Diamond membership. We'll be happy to see all serious traders who want help with trading and much, much more. Join the team. We also have lifetime access if you don't want to pay those monthly fees, which nobody really does. So check it out. Links in the description down below. And as we look at the euro now, like I said, we already got that trade to the downside. So the better trade has already happened. I just want to make sure that's very, very clear. Now, we do have demand that's being respected right now. We did kind of wick below. I usually don't count those huge wicks like that. So to continue to trade short, we really want to see the trend being proven that it's going to continue. So if we get something like this where we break these lows and we push down, create a 1-hour supply zone, we could in theory short that supply zone just like the trade that we took, up at the highs up here in the daily market breakdown video. So that's really what I'm waiting for on the euro. That's really the safest bet as far as your swing trading goes. Now, as far as day trading goes, if you just look on the 4-hour chart, in my opinion, the 4-hour chart's one of the best. Like the 4-hour and 1-hour chart is one of the best time frames to use as your higher time frame trend if you are day trading. So in this situation, we have that beautiful 4-hour downtrend on the euro. So in my opinion, it is day trading shorts all the way. So even if you don't trade supply and demand, you trade support resistance, SMC, whatever, it doesn't really matter as long as you identify that, hey, we have a 4-hour downtrend. It's shorts all the way right now. And look, we could be wrong. A price could break out. The trend could end, but the trend ends sometimes. But as long as this trend is here, we have to go with the trend. Just like you would have been profitable this whole way down with this trend, we have to continue to do the same. On to the forecast for gold. The past week, the banks added 2,012 longs, and they got rid of 9,287 shorts. Top-down approach here, weekly chart, been talking about it for a while. I am expecting gold to go down to 1870. We haven't, this is a weekly chart, by the way, to this weekly demand, where we can then switch to swing trading longs at that point. Now, how do we go ahead and trade this one now? It's definitely been tricky, in my opinion. We had this downward trend line on the daily chart here. We essentially removed it by wicking above it. So that was a pretty bullish sign, in my opinion, although I don't really like this removal. I mean, if you really zoom in on this here, you can clearly see that, okay, we removed it, but like just barely, right? So when we remove it, we really want to see, like if you look, we had this basing candle, we had strong green candle, strong green candle. The best situation would have been like another really strong green candle like that. Maybe the wicks up here like that, something like that, where it's, clearly very, very bullish, a clear break. So this is really not the best break in the daily downward trend line. So I actually am expecting price to break down lower. So let me show you exactly why I think that's going to take place. Because if you look on this 4-hour chart, we had a very clean looking 4-hour downward trend line, and we created demand here and here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this was a 4-hour demand zone trade that went wrong from the daily market breakdown videos. We just got stopped out of it. Actually, it was on a 1-hour chart. It was actually this zone right here. As you can see, it was a good zone. I liked it. I liked the move away and everything. And we actually, unfortunately, it was like a stop hunt, something like that. And we got pushed out, stopped out, and pushed up. And that's really not a problem. Just wanted to kind of just be transparent with you guys. We do take losses here. So on to the 4-hour chart again. It's certainly a tricky situation right now on gold because there's really no trend on the 4-hour chart. The daily downward trend line, we kind of peaked above the trend line. But at the end of the day, since we removed this significant demand zone, I think that's a sign that we could actually be going lower. Now, yes, we do have demand a little bit lower at 1911. This would be the next test. Yes, it is certainly possible that this is just the better zone for sure. But in my opinion, for certain reasons, I like this zone better. But if we go down, push to this zone, you could use it as potentially day trading on a lower time frame to look for scalps. But ultimately, if we remove this demand, leaving us with a supply zone, that could be our trade to continue to trade with the overall downward trend on the daily chart. So that is my analysis here on gold. I know it's not super clear, but honestly, guys, it's a little bit confusing right now. I'm not going to sit here and say gold has been easy to trade. It has not been. I'm just kind of still waiting patiently for 1870 to be hit. Like I said on the daily chart, we really haven't seen the best evidence that price is going to start to turn around. Forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 10,396 longs, and they also added 7,490 shorts. Real quick top-down approach here on the weekly chart. Remember, weekly supply is in control, but I'm really not liking what I'm seeing off this weekly supply. We usually want to see aggressive moves down, and we're just not seeing that. So I really am thinking with the dollar strength, we could actually, break through the supply. It's definitely possible we see some sort of down move like this first. Just want to kind of, give you guys multiple different scenarios. Nothing goes straight up in a straight line. Yes, we do occasionally get these very fast, aggressive moves down or moves up, but nothing typically does. So we want to make sure that we're trading with caution here. But if you just look on the lower time frames, I know the daily chart's not a lower time frame, we have a very clean looking daily upward trend line here. If you just look, beautiful daily uptrend. This is a picture perfect trend. It's screaming nothing but going long. So as long as we have this daily trend, it's really swing trading longs all the way. Now, we kind of had a little bit of a hiccup here on the 4-hour chart where we kind of broke through some demand zones. We had a nice reaction off of this 4-hour demand zone. This is actually one that I pointed out to the Diamond members as well, but I actually ended up pulling my order from this one, and I'm kind of glad I did because it didn't really move that much. Yes, we did get a nice move away. We actually ended up coming down and kind of just stopping out down below. So with that being said, we haven't removed this high. I much prefer to see this high removed, but in the meantime, if we do pull back down to this demand zone at 147.67, this could be your area to look for, your swing trading longs, day trading longs, however you like to. Maybe you guys look for confirmation. Whatever you like to do, this, in my opinion, is the only true demand zone at 147.67. So we either need to wait for a pullback down to there for longs, or if we can get something like this where we push up, get a nice clean base, another leg up, creating demand here, that would be your trade as well. And obviously, I will have that zone for all of the members if this happens throughout the week. So these are really the only two options here on the USDN. I do not, in any circumstances, recommend shorting just yet. If we can get this removed like this, then I think shorts may be on the table. But as long as this trend and this 4-hour demand is holding on the USDN, it's longs all the way. On to the forecast for the GBPUSD. The past week, the banks got rid of 12,270 longs, and they added 221 shorts. Now, if you look at a weekly chart, we were talking about this weekly demand here, and it's actually removed this past week. I'm not too surprised. I kind of thought we would get a bigger move off of the zone, maybe back up to supply and down. But, we can accept our losses and say, hey, this weekly demand actually was removed. And, with the dollar strength, I actually think we could pull back all the way down to here at 1.16 on the weekly chart long term. Unfortunately, we removed this weekly demand, and there's really no supply here at all. There's really no supply in my opinion here. Nothing drawable in my opinion. So let's go down to the lower time frames and see what's taking place. Theme of the day on the daily charts, though, is that there's really no trend. It's just momentum. So we really want to see the pullback. Hopefully, we can get a pullback to this daily supply level at 1.257 and get a move off of that, because not only would that be a great trade, but then we would have a good looking downward trend line as well. So this is what I could see taking place here on the pound. Obviously, we have seen zero evidence of that taking place, because if you look on my top right chart and my bottom right chart, we have downtrends on the 1-hour and the 4-hour chart. So there's really no evidence of the pullback taking place just yet, and I can accept that. I only trade based off of evidence. Yes, I have my speculations. Yes, I think we could pull up to this 4-hour supply in the pound. I'm speculating. That's different than from just buying down here thinking we're going to go up, right? So in the meantime, in the pound, as long as we have these 4-hour downtrends, I think shorting two supply zones is okay. So we could be looking for confirmation trades in this 4-hour supply at 1.238. I think that that's okay. And in my opinion, if you want to get in long, the best bet would actually be for this to take place, where we not only remove this supply level, but also the downward trend line, which would be the cancellation of the downward trend on the 4-hour chart. And that would be a change of direction, and we can look for a long trade like that. Kind of your overall 4-hour confirmation. So really just focusing on this 4-hour supply level at 1.238 for now on the GBPUSD. And like I said, as long as we have a 4-hour and 1-hour downtrend, those are the higher time frames for your day trading charts. So as long as whatever trend those are, if we have a 4-hour and a 1-hour uptrend, we're day trading long. If we have a 4-hour downtrend and a 1-hour downtrend, we are day trading short. In this case, we have a downtrend, so we are day trading short either on lower time frames right now or as we pull up to 4-hour supply above. On to the USDCAD. The past week, the banks got rid of 15,127 longs, and they got rid of 21,271 shorts. I won't lie to you guys, this is a tricky one to be trading right now. USDCAD certainly not on my watch list. If you look at a daily chart here, we're pretty much in the middle between supply and demand. So in that case, swing trading is not really an option right now. So we're gonna have to really rely on the lower time frames. And again, there's no trend, so it's just not the best situation. So trade with caution here, in my opinion. We do have a 1-hour demand zone below at 1.34. We could see a small move off of that, but day trading confirmation will be necessary inside of that zone on the 1-hour chart. And that's pretty much all I'm seeing. On the 4-hour chart above at 1.36, we do have supply. we could see a move off of it, but it's kind of just in a random spot, right? So it's really not the best situation. So if you just look at my 4-chart layout here, yeah, okay, we do have overall momentum to the downside, but you know, on the weekly chart and the daily chart, there's really just no clear direction. So as a trader, somebody's been doing this for a while now and understands, you know, the patience necessary and the discipline necessary, I will say right away that the USDCAD is certainly not one to be trading right now based on how I see things and how I always trade with trend. On to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 10,529 longs, and they also added 6,884 shorts. Top-down approach here. Remember, weekly demand is in control. It is tested, but very not deeply at all, just barely. So I still think we could see some sort of move off the zone, but with the dollar strength, we actually could end up breaking it. So definitely a tricky situation here. On the Aussie US dollar. So whenever it's a tricky situation, confirmation is usually going to be your best friend. We do have clean 4-hour supply above at 0.649. We could see some sort of sell move off of this supply zone, although it's a very, very obvious zone. It's going to be tricky situations. So extra confirmation on day trading time frames could be necessary. We could also see something like this where we spike above, stop everyone out, and then get that overall move to the downside. So that's really all I'm seeing here on the Aussie. Either wait for that pullback for shorts, or if you want to get in day trading longs, we have 1-hour demand below at 0.642. It's all right. It's not my favorite zone ever, I'm not going to lie, but we could see some sort of small move off of this. So this could be used for your higher time frame to look for maybe day trades on a 1-minute chart or a 5-minute chart. So like I said, for your shorts, we need to wait for the supply above, or we could actually wait for this 1-hour demand to be removed if it does and look for shorts off of that zone like that. So really just revolving around this 1-hour demand zone. If you're a day trader, it could be good for longs. And if you're more bearish, then we need to wait for that 1-hour supply zone to be removed. Or like I said, to the pullback up to 4-hour supply at 0.649. All right, on to the forecast for the USDCHF. The past week, the banks added 1,784 longs, and they also added 3,187 shorts. Very, very significant thing has happened here in the USD Swiss. We actually removed this weekly area of demand of supply, leaving us with some sort of weekly demand down below. Not the best demand, but just want to also point out that the overall momentum still is down in my opinion. So we definitely need to be trading with a grain of salt here. But with the US dollar strength, like I keep saying, I think it's longs here. I mean, I don't really want to say that. It's not super clear. I think other pairs have better options, but look, we have daily demand right here. We removed a bunch of supply levels here. We have 2 daily demand zones at 0.89. We could be looking for longs in any one of these daily demand zones for your swing trades. You could also be looking for day trades in there as well. And the more closer setup that I see is this 4-hour demand level at 0.90. So if we pull back down to this zone here, we could be looking for confirmation on a lower time frame. Why I say that is because, yes, this is a great demand zone. In my opinion, it was created during the London session as well, I believe. But down below, we have another drop-based rally area. So it could be a time where we see something like this, kind of just stop everybody out, go down to there. So definitely want to be focusing on these 2 areas here. Really just confirmation really in any sort of this area here is going to be okay as long as this upward trend line isn't coming in contact. So we have clean demand down below with trends, you know, pointing up. With the 4-hour uptrend, 1-hour uptrend in the USD Swiss here, it's longs all the way. On to crude oil, last but not least, the banks added 13,490 longs, and they also added 11,935 shorts. Remember, weekly supply is in control, but we have tested very, very deep now, basically almost a little bit over 3/4 of the way in. So in my opinion, this weekly supply is looking weak, especially since on the daily chart, we have nothing but strength here. Beautiful looking daily upward trend here, clean upward trend line, far away from the trend line as well. So in my opinion, it's all signs to the upside. Now on the 1-hour chart, we have had a little bit of a hiccup where we created a 1-hour downward trend line, removed demand, but we quickly actually removed not only supply, but the downward trend line on the 1-hour chart, leaving us with 1-hour demand below at 89.48. So this could be your area to look for potential longs in like that, maybe on day trading time frames on the 1-hour chart, Or on the 4-hour chart, if you're looking at it in a bigger perspective here, we have two little 4-hour demand zones here at 89.64, like that. We could see a move off of that zone. And if we actually break the zone, we have a little bit of a better zone below at 88.10. So really pretty bullish here on oil. Yes, we did get a little bit of a hiccup, kind of going sideways, but with the trend on the daily chart, we have to remember, we can't get focused on lower time frames. I know a 4-hour chart's not a super low time frame, but what I'm trying to say is, like, we could be saying, okay guys, momentum's changing here, we're going sideways, time to hop on short. But if you just were to go to a higher time frame perspective, you'd say, okay, well, maybe not. The daily trend's up. I think we got to continue to look for longs. That's why I'm pointing out those 1-hour demand zones and the 4-hour demand zones here on crude oil. So in my opinion, it's longs all the way, as long as we have this daily uptrend. If you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.